Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Clayton's Classroom. So excited to have you join us tonight. We have a lot of people popping into this call and a lot of exciting things to share. So first of all, I want to say this is Clayton's Classroom, January 20th, and our guest host tonight is Victoria White. And so the first thing I'd like to do before we get things started, I'm going to read our disclaimer just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're compliant. This call is intended only for informational purposes. Neither the products nor the statements made about the products on this call have been evaluated by the FDA, AMA, or any other medical entity. The views and opinions expressed on this call by Clayton Nolte, distributors, customers, and or other speakers solely represent the conclusions of said speakers and are not guarantees that anyone using the products will achieve the same result. These conclusions and products are not intended to be substitutes for the diagnosis, treatment, cure, or prevention of any disease or injury, nor should they be taken as substitutes for the advice of a physician. Anyone suffering from disease or injury should consult with a physician. All right, that being said, my name is Corinne. I'll be your moderator tonight, and I first would like to introduce our illustrious inventor, creator of structured water units, and the reason why we're all here. Before I introduce Clayton, I want to remind everybody we do have quite a few people on the call tonight, so bring your questions forward, and if you have a question, go ahead and put yourself in the queue in line with your hand raised by pressing *2. And that way when we get to questions, I can be sure and get everyone in and your questions answered before the end of our call. All right, Clayton. Clayton Nolte has been a researcher of subtle and free energies in nature for several decades. After years of observing the vast and mysterious properties of water, he invented a way to mimic how water moves naturally and rediscovers its own perfect balance as created by nature. Clayton has harnessed this technology into his own creation of structured water units, which also led to the discovery and benefits of breathing structured air. Clayton's passion, dedication, and loving spirit continues to bring the opportunity of structured water and a better sense of well-being to all life as we know it. Clayton, welcome to your call and for sharing with us once again.
Well, thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure always to engage with all the wonderful people out there that are experiencing this magnificent opportunity for a longer life. Okay.
I so agree with you. Thank you. And our guest host has been with us several times before. She's actually been with us as a distributor and a contributor for many years. Victoria White. Victoria White is an avid gardener and plant whisperer. She started cultivating her vision of gardening in a severely challenging environment southwest of Tucson, Arizona in 2008. She learned about Clayton and structured water shortly after, and since has continued to create and develop her own little piece of paradise. She now has a thriving business selling moringa tree products and Clayton Nolte structured water units. Victoria has spent countless hours interviewing Clayton to learn and teach about structured water and its many applications. This lady is always giving her heart and hands to help anyone improve their quality of life. And that's why this lady, Victoria White, has so many fans, and I'm one of them. Victoria, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, Corinne and Clayton. It's always a pleasure and a joy and a great honor to be here on these calls. I really enjoy them. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Victoria. We're in for some fun tonight and a lot of learning and sharing. I want to let everybody know that Clayton would like to start out with a structured breathing sequence with the portable unit. If you have a portable unit, go ahead and grab that, and we'll get ready to do that in just a couple minutes. If you don't, you can still go along with the sequence because it'll be very effective, and it'll just help align us all with the common intention of just being here and fulfilling not only the mission of structured water, but the mission of reaching our fullest potential, what we came here to do and be. So go ahead and grab your portable units, and we'll start with Clayton. If you would give us an overview of what is structured water and what is not structured water.
You want to do that first? Okay. What is
Yes.
structured water? You know, I've explained this probably a lot of people on this call could do it better than I, including Victoria. Anyway, I do it pretty much the same all the time, but I think just in simple terms, think about it this way. The liquid within your body, all life, is structured. If it weren't structured, you could not be alive. Basically, all the liquids and all the actions of your body, everything moving through your cellular structure, through every aspect of your body, it couldn't move, couldn't pass through the blood veins and all the things that it has to engage if it weren't structured. Structure allows let's say the fluids within your body to move from one place to another with ease. So, what is structure? Structure is exactly that. It opens the gateway for things to penetrate, to move freely. So when we add structured water onto our system, through either drinking it or bathing in it, we're allowing all the nutrients in the water and in what we're consuming to enter into our cellular level instantaneously. Prior to structuring, if you're not using structured water or structured air, that movement, the water has to be made usable, and that requires an enormous amount of energy for your body to break it down and bring it into a place of just carrying nutrients to your cellular level and hydrating your entire body. So again, structuring makes that instantaneously available without any work extended by your body. And many of you people already know that if you're not using structured water, the amount of energy your body has to put out could light your house up for a month if you could convert it to electricity for one day's hydration, for one day's, nutrient value coming to your cellular level. So the other thing about structuring, and if I don't say this, Victoria's going to remind me, it is that structured water neutralizes all toxins, and through the process also holds off all bacteria, viruses, molds, pathogens, all things that are adverse to the living organism. So, but structuring also, let's see, it's memory of the water. What else is it, Victoria? What do I always forget?
It energetically enhances all nutrients as well. You might have just mentioned that, but it also frees up the bound up hydrogen and oxygen.
Oh, yeah,
and brings it into more of a balanced pH, so you can take it from there.
Yes. It basically structuring. The big thing it does is that it breaks down the huge clusters of water molecules, bringing them down to a small number, again, making it instantly hydratable, instantly entering your cellular level. In that process also, it releases all the free oxygen in the water, and so you have a significant amount of free oxygen. That free oxygen, by the way, whether you drink water, bathe in water, the majority of that oxygen goes to your brain. And first-time users of structured water will notice a significant increase in energy. That first time you might run out and wash your windows, or who knows what you would do with all that energy. But anyway, but yes, free oxygen is very, very important. It's a free oxygen in water, structured water, that allows for the suspension of things like bacteria, viruses, molds, and toxins, and pathogens. All these things, they are let's say, they are suspended because of oxygen. All bacteria, viruses, molds, and pathogens thrive in areas where there's little or no oxygen. So adding a significant amount of oxygen to your water, which structuring does, brings all those problems into a place where they cannot no longer harm. Hydrogen, primarily it brings hydrogen to a balance. And the balance in nature would be alkaline aspect of 7.25 to 7.45. It may raise the level that you're measuring a little bit higher initially. And also, if you have a filter in your line, hydrogen is attracted to carbon, so it may reduce the level of hydrogen in your line. But I always tell people it's nothing to really concern themselves with. Hydrogen is very elusive. The measurement is called potential hydrogen, pH. Potential meaning it could be there, may be there, and may not be there. Again, hydrogen is very elusive. So, what else would you like to talk about? Why don't we get on with a breathing exercise? We'll get into all these questions and answers.
Yeah, we would definitely will. That was great. Thank you, Clayton. And I just want to, before we get started on the breathing exercise, I wanted to get a couple of comments from Victoria about breathing structured air, because, Victoria, you were one of the first real promoters of breathing structured air when we first got onto that whole concept. And you have brought up and brought things to light for us that we weren't aware of even. And so we're going to start this sequence here in just a minute. Do you have anything you'd like to add to how important you feel that is?
Yes, and this was interesting because we're coming up on this very important event in Tucson. The biggest event in the year is the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. And it must have been, 3 years ago now, when Tim Tula was out here. And he was testing people and showing them the gas discharge visualization analyzer, and we got a chance to see that in action and how it works. And anyway, what ended up happening is a lot of people had this virus and ended up coming down with some big respiratory problem, including my husband Tim and Tim Tula and all these people that, he was working around and that were coming and visiting him at the show. So he had gone back to Clayton and said, gosh, I wish you would create a structured air machine. And Clayton just instantly said, just breathe through the unit. And so, it all came from the fact that air is just another form of water. We need the water vapor in the air to breathe in the oxygen. So I was at the cutting edge of all of this, and I was working with Tim Tula, and because Tim, my husband, was sick, and we started doing this structured breathing before it had even been tested or anything. But we started seeing that it was doing some pretty interesting things. And one of the things is we started, using it with a fan and being able to stay focused, long hours at our desk and not get wiped out. And so now, 24/7, we have a portable unit in each of our offices devoted to structured air 24/7, besides what we use for the drinking and all that. Well, we have a house unit too, but we have units all over the house for different purposes. But anyway, So we learned that it really does